Hello EFD squad and welcome back to Transfer Review and welcome back to a not fired yet Chris Hamill, who's back from Russia. How was Russia?
Hamill. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You'll see a lot more of that in the vlog, which is yet to come.
How was the vodka? How was the borscht?
The vodka was top notch. The food, not so much. We had a traditional cold soup that had shredded radish in it, and Joe Tomlinson went see-through. So I look forward to reliving that in the vlog. But how was Greece, mate? Because you're back from Greece.
Lovely, actually. Kalimera. It was very good. Thank you. Efkaristo. Had a good time.
How's the gyros?
They were very, very good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I ate about 6 chickens in my entire time there. It was very good stuff. But anyway, we move on. Olivier Giroud.
Enough of the culture.
In transfer review again. He's on his way to Everton, according to the Mirror, the Express, the Times. Chris, what is this? Why is it happening? How much would it cost? Tell me.
Let me consult my sheet here, Pato, because I came in late this morning. Severe lack of prep. Now, Alexandre Lacazette is apparently on his way to Arsenal. That is a done deal for 44 million quid.
Yep.
And because of that, Arsene Wenger is willing to part ways with the big Frenchman that is Olivier Giroud. Now, apparently Giroud doesn't want to leave. He's happy to sit on the bench, a la last season, and come on in the dying embers of the match and, score goals.
Sure.
And apparently Everton are in talks with Arsenal, despite this. To the tune of £20 million for the big man. Now, I think that'd be a mistake on Arsenal's part. He's a proven Premier League goal scorer. He's scored 20 plus goals in all competitions in each of the seasons he's been at Arsenal, hasn't he? He's got a prolific goals to minute ratio, and I think you'd struggle to replace him for 15 to 20 million. So for me, that feels a little bit on the cheap side. Now, apparently Everton face stiff competition from the newly cash-flushed Marseille and West Ham, of course. West Ham, they're in for being big bucks for a striker who's in the twilight of his career. Shock, horror. Now, Everton have already signed Sandro Ramirez, haven't they? If you don't know much about him, he played for Malaga last season. He's quite a young striker. He came through La Masia. He scored 14 league goals, which was more than any other player who was 21 or under. So he comes with a certain amount of pedigree. And they only signed him for 6 million. So Koeman, he could either become a damn squib, or Koeman could look like a genius, quite frankly, because that is absolutely nothing in today's market. Obviously, this all stems from the Giroud going to Everton conversation, stems from Lukaku leaving, doesn't it? And apparently, that looks pretty nailed on for 75 million to Chelsea. You're the Arsenal fan. What do you think to bringing Lacazette in and losing someone like Giroud?
Well, I kind of agree about Sandro Ramirez. You don't really know how good he's going to be, but he can play wide, he can play through the middle. Like you said, very, very cheap fee and 21 years old. So if you just end up replacing, say, Aaron Lennon or Kevin Morales with him, then you think that would probably be an upgrade in the long term. Giroud for Lukaku, now he doesn't have anything like the pace or some of the physical gifts that Lukaku has, but he is extremely strong. He's very good in hold-up play as well. And we saw that Koeman, when he was at Southampton, favoured Graziano Pelle, who in a way was quite similar to Giroud, I think. Like you said, Giroud's goal-scoring record last season is absolutely disgusting. I've got him down 0.89 goals per 90 minutes. Now, partially, that's because he was coming on in the last 20 minutes of games and just scoring. But Lukaku was at 0.69 goals per 90, Sandro down at 0.54. So between the two of them, you imagine that at the very least they'd be able to match Lukaku's output. Now, Giroud gets shots off from really good areas. This is why he was so prolific last season. 2.6 shots from inside the area. Compare that to 2.2 for Lukaku. Now, part of the reason for this is because of Giroud's dominance in the air. 50% of his Premier League goals came from headers. That's 6 Premier League goals from headers. And he won 52% of his aerial duels, which is pretty impressive when you think that you're going up against some really big centre-backs in the Premier League. Sandro, on the other hand, he's 5'9", which is not the biggest guy in the world, but he's reasonably quick and he's used to playing off the wing. He of course did it at Barcelona, and he did it a bit at Malaga as well. So maybe they could play with the two up front, maybe Sandro would play wide. It would give them some sort of tactical flexibility. And given that we think that somebody like Ross Barkley is probably on his way out, this looks like it could be a goer. But I agree with you, £20 million, I think Arsene Wenger is going to want to keep him. What do you guys think? Will Giroud stay? Will he go? Let us know in the comments below.
Next on the agenda is Lemar, and according to Marca, L'Equipe and Don Balon, he is wanted by Los Blancos, Real Madrid. Pato, what do you make of this?
Yeah, Marca, L'Equipe and Don Balon, one of those things is not like the others. Real Madrid are apparently going to challenge Arsenal for Lemar. Of course, Arsenal have had a bid somewhere around 37 million euros rejected by Monaco, who apparently want, well, it depends who you believe. Some people say they want 50 million euros. Some people say that they will absolutely rule out his sale entirely. Who knows? But Tottenham were interested in as well, but Pochettino was put off by a very high price tag. They've since been linked with Adrian Silva. No one knows what's going on there. L'Équipe claimed that Lemar said that he would like to play for Wenger, that he's told Wenger he would like to come to Arsenal. But obviously, thanks to Monaco's role in his development, he's not going to push for a move away. Now, if he did come, he'd clearly be a replacement for Sanchez. Sanchez might be leaving, who knows? But at Real Madrid, it's a little bit harder to see where he'd fit in. Cristiano Ronaldo moving into the middle, but Karim Benzema still had plenty of starts. Gareth Bale, of course, plays on the right. And the real problem here is Marco Asensio, who might be in the top 5 young players in the world. He's absolutely outrageous.
I'd say most definitely.
He's so good. He only made 12 La Liga starts last season. So if Lemar came in, what is that going to do for Asensio's development? And Real Madrid love a homegrown player. Perez may not, but their fans really do. And Asensio is outrageous.
The fans are insistent on it, aren't they?
He's so good.
And some of the reasons behind Ronaldo's booing was because he was taking the place of Alvaro Morata when Morata was prolific at points last season. But yeah, and I think it would be the same sort of scenario should Zidane spend 40 million on someone like Lemar when he's got Asensio in the ranks. Asensio, obviously when Liverpool came in with that huge 60 million euro bid, Asensio was like, I'm not going to push for a move, but I do want more minutes next season. And in the games that he did play, he was destructive, wasn't he? I remember that 4-1 demolition of Sevilla when he was man of the match. I think that was back in May. But Tamar Lemar doesn't make sense for me to Real Madrid because, one, they've got Gareth Bale coming back from injury. He wasn't even in the starting lineup towards the end of last season. 2, they've still yet to get rid of James Rodriguez, another wide man who performs exceptionally well when he comes into the fold. And 3, I mean, Zidane finished the season, obviously he plays a 4-3-3 a lot of time, but he finished with that 4-3-1-2, Isco in that 10. There's not a lot of capacity to incorporate a wide man in that.
Sure.
And even if Isco moved back for Modric, who's over the age of 30 now, you'd imagine that Asensio comes into that number 10 maybe with Benzema and Ronaldo dovetailing up front. And they've still got the likes of Kovacic on the bench. Kovacic.
Yeah.
Mate, he'd be killer at Arsenal.
He'd be perfect for us. I mean, they're also supposedly linked with Dani Ceballos as well, so I don't really see it. Do you?
Absolutely not. For 37 million as well, I think there's probably money better spent elsewhere in that squad. The strength and depth is immense at Real Madrid. No, I think they wouldn't risk, upsetting the apple cart. Asensio's got to start more games, hasn't he, next season? But what do you guys think? Should they opt for Asensio? Should they buy Tamar Lemar, who's had a few, more first-team games, more first-team experience? Let us know in the comments below.
Next up, Diego Costa to Atletico Madrid. The Times and the Telegraph, pretty reputable sources, have gone ham on this one. So what do you think? What's going on?
The Times reckon the caveman has told the family, I don't know who that is, the Corleones maybe, that he's agreed a deal with Atletico Madrid and the fee is in the region of 50 million euros, a sizable chunk for someone who is about to turn 29. Now, Atletico's transfer ban was upheld, so they can't field any new players until January of next season. So Costa, if he does go ahead with this deal, has got to accept that he's not going to play for 6 months of the season. At 29, is that the best idea? Not sure, Pato, although he is desperate to get back to Spain, isn't he?
Yeah.
Especially after that fallout with Conte. Now, AS have also said that Simeone will not loan him out for 6 months, which seems odd because it would be to his benefit to keep him match sharp, especially if they're going to spend 50 million quid on the guy. I reckon it should go to Porto, mate.
Yeah?
Perfect. They are in dire need of a striker after selling Andre Silva. They've sold Ruben Neves to Wolves because they're desperate to balance the books
More of that
when
later.
it comes to financial fair play. More of that later. Didn't know that. Took me by surprise there. And I think he'd just rip it up in Portugal. Bring him back to Spain in fighting form. And hopefully he'll secure Atletico's bid maybe for the title, probably not, but for Champions League football at the very least. But what does this mean for Kevin Gamero, Pato? He only started 25 times in all competitions last season. He had a few purple patches, didn't he? But I think over the course of it, he blew hot and cold.
Well, you say he blew hot and cold, but if you actually look at his scoring rate last season, 0.6 goals per 90 minutes, that's above Costa, and it's actually above Antoine Griezmann as well. but he doesn't have the variety of weaponry that Costa has. Costa can run the channels, he's good in the air, he can win aerial duels, whereas if you look at Griezmann and Gamero's numbers, they win about the same number of duels per 90 as Costa does on his own. But in that 4-4-2, we often see Fernando Torres there partnering Griezmann, and obviously Costa would be a huge upgrade on him. The interesting thing about Diego Costa is, unlike most elite strikers, he actually doesn't take very many shots per game. His shots per 90 normally below 3, which is unusually low. But that might actually work well with a sort of counter-attacking system. His conversion rate has consistently been above average in his entire time at Chelsea. So when he does get half chances, he tends to put them away.
I agree.
And that's exactly what Simeone needs, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of those shots are inside the box as well. I think out of those 3, I think it was 2 that were taken inside the 12-yard box. And when Simeone likes to play that 4-4-1-1, doesn't he? With Griezmann operating as kind of a number 10 come striker when they launch a counter-attack.
Sure.
So I think he's very, very predatory, as you say. I think as that final striker, as that point man, he'd be really good.
Yeah, the one issue though I have with it is that we might see less of Yannick Ferreira Carrasco. He got 27 starts last season, just 2 more than Gamero. Now he's versatile as well. He can play as a striker, he can play behind the striker, he can play wide. And I think we all agree that he's an incredibly talented player, though there have been rumours of him falling out with Simeone.
Made an explosive start, didn't he?
Yeah, he had an incredible start to last season when Atleti went off like a rocket. But the good thing about him is he could maybe play on the left if they went to a 4-3-3 with Costa through the middle and played Griezmann on the right. And unlike Fernando Torres, Costa is mobile enough. And unlike Gamero, he's also a big enough physical presence. But what do you guys think? Will Diego Costa go to Atletico Madrid? Should he go out on loan? And if he were to go out on loan, should he go to Porto? Let us know what you guys think in the comments below.
It wouldn't be an episode of Transfer Review without talking about PSG and who they're willing to spunk money up the wall on. This week it is Coutinho and Fabinho, according to The Mirror and Le Parisien, respectively, Pato. Let's start with Coutinho. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, PSG have apparently made an inquiry for the attacking midfielder. They've been quoted 90 million euros for him, and they've already had a 42 million euro bid for Fabinho turned down by Monaco. Now, it seems a bit weird that they want more midfielders. Let's have a look at who they've already got. Di Maria, Pastore, Draxler, Verratti, Ben Arfa, Lucas, Matuidi, Rabiot, Krychowiak, and Motta. So they are pretty much stacked in the middle of the park. Now, Matuidi looks like he might be off to Juventus. Verratti's a target for Barcelona. Krychowiak might be persona non grata. There are a bunch of guys who might be on the outs. But anyway, Monaco apparently not keen to sell to PSG anyway. And Le Parisien say that if it came down to it, they'd actually take less money and flog him to Man United to get him out of the league. And Liverpool, of course, are not very keen to sell either, but they know they can't compete with PSG's wages. Now, Coutinho is their top earner. I believe he's on about £160,000 a week, but PSG might be willing to up that to £250,000. So, if they can agree a fee, you'd have thought that he might well be interested in going. How would they fit in?
Well, unless a big hitter leaves, Pato, Coutinho is definitely not a necessity for PSG, is he? They've got Lucas Moura there, Di Maria and Draxler, who only came in January, only played 1,000 minutes last season, and they're all occupying a position Coutinho would probably take up. Now, Coutinho's also second best statistically to Di Maria in terms of chances created, dribbles per 90 and shot accuracy. And Di Maria didn't start the season entirely well either.
No.
So there's a lot more to come from Di Maria. I'm sure Unai Emery is hoping for a lot more at the very least. Now Inter Milan, another team who are seemingly linked with everyone owing to their newfound cash, are interested in taking Di Maria from PSG, but it remains extremely unlikely, especially if they're going for James Rodriguez yet again. Now, as for Fabinho, again, this seems like an odd move. As you say, Monaco extremely reluctant to sell, and they've already got Krychowiak, Verratti, Motta, Rabiot. Although Fabinho can play right back, can't he?
Yeah, and Serge Aurier could be on the out.
Serge Aurier could be on the out as well, so it might make sense in that regard. I mean, if we're going to talk centre mids, PSG have some of the best technicians in the world, don't they?
Yeah.
Especially Verratti, who's been linked with a 100 million move to Barcelona. I'm not sure if Thiago Motta's having his contract renewed.
Hard to tell.
If he's not, I'd take him at Celtic in a heartbeat. Give him 100 grand a week. He is a hell of a player, hell of a passer. But yes, Fabinho, I mean, it shows here he has an inferior pass completion percentage rate to the likes of Motta, Verratti and Rabiot. He doesn't complete as many tackles as those guys in midfield either. He also has lower interceptions. Incredibly athletic specimen, isn't he? would offer them tactical flexibility as well.
Sure.
But maybe, I think I might have heard him say is he sees his future at right back as well.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what PSG are thinking if Sergio Aurier continues to cause trouble, if he continues to be ill-disciplined. I mean, he's a hell of a player as well, isn't he? Sergio Aurier, a hell of a prospect as well. But what do you think they should do, guys? Let's poll it. Who should they sign PSG next season? Should they go all guns blazing for Coutinho, Fabinho? Let's put a wild card in there, Pato. Mbappe and... Go on, say the first name that comes to mind.
Alexis Sanchez.
Alexis Sanchez. 4 options for you, right above my head.
Transfer shocker time now, and unlike most of our transfer shockers, this one's actually happening.
I can't believe it.
It's disgusting. Ruben Neves on his way to Wolverhampton Wanderers, those titans of world football. This is according to everyone.
I've taken this personally.
It's because it's
Celtic,
obscene. It's profane.
Celtic wouldn't be able to secure the services of someone like Ruben Neves.
Oh, I tell you what, Celtic would be great, wouldn't
Wolves. Wolves have gone ahead and they're seemingly landed him for 17 million euros. Apparently they're just mulling over personal terms now. I can't believe this is happening, as I've said 4 times already. But yes, apparently Neves wants 55k a week, which is a relatively modest sum. I'd want at least quadruple that to live and play in Wolverhampton.
It's a dump.
The Black Country. Good people though, mate. Good people. Honest people. Hard-working people.
Are they though?
But I mean, when you compare that to the news that's just emerged that Jack Rodwell is going to earn 70k in the Championship, that looks like a relatively decent fee. Give him 55k a week. I mean, I don't think they're short of money, are they? They've just been taken over, Wolves, by a Chinese consortium who paid Jorge Mendes to advise them. Jorge Mendes also Ruben Neves' agent. So, join the dots at your own... oh, someone's just walked in. We'll ignore that. Join the dots in your own time. Anyway, Wolves also have Helder Costa, who they signed for £15 million from Monaco. And I mean, just the thought of Helder Costa and Ruben Neves playing for a mid-table Championship side is I'm disillusioned, Pat.
Well, it's stupid. That's why.
That's why it's a transfer shock, I
There's
suppose,
no sense in this at all. And also, if you're like a Swansea or a Southampton,
Madness.
why wouldn't you take
Exactly.
a punt on him? He was the youngest Primeira Liga scorer. He's the youngest Portuguese player in the Champions League. The youngest captain in Champions League history.
Star Wars question.
The youngest
Remember
player
that?
to reach 50
times.
appearances for Porto. Stop bringing back scenes of my greatest triumphs. But anyway, struggled last season. I've lost interest. It's stupid. I don't care.
It is absolutely obscene. So that's that for this week's transfer review, guys. What should the people do next, Patrice?
They should say right here on EuroFootball
Obviously.
Daily, check out a special edition of Stat Wars from last week where you took on John Babb himself. He didn't know the questions in advance, just to let you know. And of course, make sure that you like and subscribe.